And we're back on the Mana Symbol channel, playing a little bit of Whurza. It's been a while, so we are booting up with this Grixis quote unquote Urza list from the one and only ContraEgo, the sort of last Highlander as far as Urza Whurza decks go. He had a quite strong finish in one of the bigger modern events recently on Magic Online. And so that's the list we're playing here. We've got some. It's basically a straight blue-red main deck, just barely splashing into black/white for Thopter Foundry. We've got a Talisman of Dominance. We have some Pentad Prisms that can give us any color, and we have a Hallowed Fountain, Raugrin Triome in the mana base, as well as a Watery Grave and a Blood Crypt, as well as some Glimmervoids. So we do have lots of access to different colored mana that should hopefully get us where we need to be every game. We are playing a paltry 3 pieces of cards that interact with our opponent in any significant way in Galvanic Blast, though we do have Aether Spellbomb, Pithing Needle, and Nihil Spellbomb, as well as some Chromatic Stars. And we have main deck Damping Sphere, Ichor Wellspring if we need to grind against people with Goblin Engineer and Ensnaring Bridge. So while our normal kinds of interaction are pretty limited, the powerful hosers that we have access to are not. We even have a Spine of Ish Sah up here. This is a 7-mana artifact that when it enters the battlefield, you destroy target permanent. And when it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you return it to its owner's hand. Theoretically, if we go infinite with Urza, we could flip into this and just destroy all of our opponent's lands. It is not efficient or particularly fun to have to try to do it, but you can do it. So we'll see if we need to do anything like that. If someone wants to be a silly goose against us and not concede to our infinite mana. The sideboard obviously helps us push into a lot more interaction with 3 fatal pushes, 4 Thoughtseize. So apparently we're more worried about combo than we are about aggro. We've got a Vanishing Verse, some Fractures, Tezzeret, Ashiok, Rip Apart, Sorcerer's Spyglass, and Grafdigger's Cage. I think the sideboarding is going to be one of the more difficult things to do correctly with this deck first time out in a while, as I usually find it is. I never really know which matchups I'm supposed to be bringing in Tezzeret or some of the other cards that make you like a quote-unquote better mid-range deck rather than being a straight combo deck, but I also haven't worried about it. We've been doing pretty well considering. There is, 9 days left of this modern season, and E Principe is at 52 trophies, just tearing it up. Also, Quality Pun Spider Space, how you doing tonight? Red-Faced Menace is our first opponent. We're on the play, and we've got a pretty good hand. Yeah, we'll keep this. It's a brave new world. Do 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 do. It's a brave new world. Do 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 do. It's a brave new world. It's a brave new world. Dying swans, wasted dreams. Oh, Iron Maiden, you're the best. Wow. Yeah, all right. I guess I'm probably not playing the Engineer on 2, since it will cause me to shuffle away the Urza that I kind of want that's there. I hope they play an Amulet. Okay, good. Now at least I know what I'm up against. So the question is, do I have to play this Engineer on 2? No, I just play the Thopter Foundry on 2, play the Engineer on 3, play Urza on 4. Seems pretty clean. All right. Poing. Okay. No Karoo is pretty comfy. Oh, Elvish Reclaimer. Oh, that is way less terrifying than it should have been. Well, I've got Thopter Sword. Man, combo decks are really easy to play in Modern. Actually, they could have Bojuka Bog in their 60, which, if so, will be problematic. But they need to try to deal with my sword now, I think. It's probably a little too dangerous for them to try to snipe it after the fact. We'll see if they do it. Yeah, I think they will. Is this them getting Bojuka Bog? It is. Damn. Hey, Michael. I don't know if we're winning. We're certainly not winning on that exchange. Ah, we kind of are. That was incredibly slow and clunky for them to do that rather than, you know, advance their plan as they normally might. So, I'll take it. Galvanic Blast seems fine. And I can even draw and play it now, so let's probably do that. So we go Urza taps Foundry, put in Chromatic Star. Urza taps Witching Well sacks Chromatic Star. Draw Galvanic Blast. And take out Proclaimer. Alright. Attack you for 1. Scrawl! There was a tiny pause there, and I thought they had a Dismember, but I guess they don't. Oh, it looks like they don't have much of anything going on. Yikes. That is not what you want to see. Sure. Summer's Pact, okay. Primeval Titan, Simic Growth Chamber. Okay, we shouldn't be able to die here. Although it's not going to be terribly distant from death, because they're actually on Boros Garrison Slayer Stronghold. They have played their land for the turn. They bounce Slayer Stronghold. Interesting. Solaria West and Valakut? Is that what they got? A second Valakut? It just doesn't tell me. Whatever. Okay. They already made their land drop though, so I'm not terribly frightened of this. Given that you just win there, if you find a sword with an acute line involving sacking a well to a Thopter to get it back and scry before popping it. What? I'm not sure. What I'm going to do is sacrifice Thopter Foundry to get back Witching Well. To try to scry to get a sword. These are not swords. Those are not swords either. That's a sword. To sack a well to Thopter, Goblin it back, scry, then draw 2 off the other well. So I was trying to figure out like how I could logistically like work out something like that. I think I could have possibly gained an extra 1 life, but since it didn't really matter, I didn't do it. But I should have. I probably should have. But I also probably shouldn't have lost the first sword to a Bojuka Bog. I was just like, I totally didn't have it in my mind until it was too late that my opponent could actually have Bojuka Bog in their main deck that they could tutor for with the Reclaimer. Like, that the sword in my graveyard was theoretically any level of being vulnerable. No. Maybe? And then Thoughtseizes are probablys, I guess. I think Thoughtseize is generally going to be better than Galvanic Blast. Even though they are playing Reclaimers, like, I don't know, I feel like I can beat Reclaimer. Fracture hits Dryad and Amulet. Yeah, I guess so. You're not wrong. Let's see what I'm cutting, because I can cut the Spellbomb, Nihil Spellbomb. Pithing Needle's fine for the Reclaimers. Damping Sphere is definitely okay. Probably don't need Ichor Wellspring. I don't think these games are going to go long enough for a card like that to be relevant. Alright, I like this sideboarding. It's not perfect, I'm sure, but I like it. Man, how many swords did we have in our deck at that point? It was at like at least 6? 3 more Goblin Engineers, the 3 Whirs, and then the sword itself, so 7. Huh. It's a very high density of combo pieces. Can I keep this hand? I don't think I can. It's tempting just to have the turn 2 Damping Sphere, but yeah, that's better. Would you consider shaving a Foundry or sword given so many tutors? I would definitely not consider shaving a sword, just because of what we literally saw happen in that game. I would possibly consider cutting a Thopter Foundry if I didn't think the matchup was so much about speed. But I think being able to combo pretty damn quickly is a pretty big get in this matchup. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want that Elvish Reclaimer to be functional? Because I have thoughts. I have a note or two. They could have Nature's Claim or some such. It's likely they have some kind of artifact, enchantment removal, what have you, in this game. But being able to shut down their Reclaimer for a couple turns and then forcing them to use that on Pithing Needle rather than anything else is not a bad thing. Engineer is going to get me the Thopter Foundry right now. And then next turn I can play Witching Well and Sword and sack the Sword to the Goblin to get... No, I can't. I don't have a third untapped land. Probably the best thing to do is just play the Engineer this turn, get the Thopter Foundry in my graveyard. See what happens. Blood Crypt plus Island gets everything covered. Yeah. Yes, it does. Yeah, I think you could definitely shave a Thopter Foundry, but I don't think I would ever shave a sword at this point, just because there are enough ways they have of getting Bojuka Bog into play at inopportune moments for us, for our side. Well, this kind of works out, though, because this turn I just get to play Sword of the Meek into Witching Well into get the Thopter Foundry back, and then next turn I just get to play the Sword of the Meek. So this works pretty well. Don't need that. I don't hate this card right now, but I mostly just need mana. If I hit mana, I just win the game, right? I think so. Huh. It's like Amulet is sometimes really bad against other combo decks. Go figure. It would not have been my first thought. Oh no! More 1/2s! Thraben Inspector, eat your heart out. I do wonder if they have like a bunch of Path to Exiles in their hand or some such. It's possible. Which will be less than ideal, but... Because if I want to combo fast, I can't... Okay. I think we just jam here. There is... No, I'm not under pressure, right? I'm not under pressure. I don't need to jam here. So let's not throw away the game. So this way, if they do have a Path to Exile next turn, we still get to combo off in response. So yes, I could play Urza into Sword this turn, but if they have Path to Exile, which they are heavily representing, and I wouldn't have been surprised at all if they mulligan to it, then we just look like idiots for being like, play my Urza, path it. And it's like, oh, well, I was going to combo you, but now I can't. Here comes the path. On their own Reclaimer. This is so they can play a Titan this turn. That's completely acceptable. I mean, this was acceptable anyway, but... Oh, maybe not. Dryad? Wreck Sage. Okay. So they're going to destroy my Thopter Foundry? If they're smart. I guess they could destroy the Pithing Needle. Unlocking for Bog. Yeah, but... I don't know if they realize that one Bog is not a big deal. But I guess we'll find out in a second. I don't think there's any reason not to do this. It does mean that I won't... Oh, they can respond here by bogging me? They didn't, though, which is good and fine and good. Sure. So they have a bog up now, but I have an extra artifact. So as soon as Urza's in play, I just make infinite Thopters, and there's really nothing that they could do about it. So I think we're in the clear. Yeah, we're in the clear here. Although they were getting fairly close to being able to do something. So they can't have double path. So this just means, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. All we have to do is not punt in the way we execute the combo. And I know how to not do that, so I'm not going to do that. Pass priority. Do you have the path? Speak now or forever hold your path. Oh, the sword is in my graveyard. Oh, it's so tasty. Oh no, guys, they're getting the bag. The Bajuka bag is coming on in. I'm concerned. Can't you hear the consternation? Is that how you say that word? Ping. Figures that I could say Asmore and Omar Dice in a cool Dakar, but I don't know if consternation or consternation is the right word. Yarr! We comboed them! I'm glad I still own this deck mostly in paper. Excellent. Kilgore, did you see the new project that I've been working on? I put a preview in my tweet for the stream. It features the voice of one Daniel Shriver. You haven't? All right, I'm gonna play another little snippet of this. I hope people don't mind.
Daniel, look at this new set. I'm building a new deck with 5 colors, 200 cards, and the ability to win every round in 17 minutes.
Are you sure you want to go through with this, Zach? You do have a very full archive as it is.
Yes, but not completely full. For you see, some folk brew for fun, others brew to win. The only thing I'm brewing for is to fit my pet cards in.
That's all you get for now, but it's almost done. It will be on YouTube in the near future. Hey, Red Face Menace. Nice games. I did make that. Yeah, the Needle was a nice start to game 2. I had a loose 7 that I had to mulligan, but had a nice clean keep on the 6. When will you have Daemoness Kermit the Frog? When I do, it's not easy playing green. Or I guess Rainbow Connection. Postmortem Plunge, a good card. Do you mean Postmortem Lunge, or is there a new card that I don't know of? Also, yay, more Titan! Yay. We found more Titan. Okay. I will eventually need red mana. But I think I'm going to lead on blue here. I mean, you tried Red Face Menace. You just, like, I'm an experienced Urza pilot. So I knew that your only way out, in theory, like, the way your draw went, you, like, if you had a Titan, I didn't care. I was just going to combo you. So I could have gone for my Thopter Sword combo 1 turn earlier, but I didn't, so that I could play around the bog by having the sword and the Thopter Foundry play first. And then that played around both Path to Exile and Bojuka Bog. So, like, that's, you know, that's just a thing that can happen. Titan, generally speaking, I think is not that good against other combo decks. It's fine. I'm not saying it's bad against other combo decks, but it's not great. This game's looking less than great, though. They've just had a good fast start. Oh, I should... Okay, so okay. I'm going to play the Goblin Engineer here. I didn't mean to play Glimmervoid Goblin Engineer. I thought for a half second I was going to play the Ichor Wellspring, but I think it's worth just burying a sword here. They have an amulet, so if they manage to Titan this turn, we're going to be in big trouble pretty much regardless. Oh, no, I figured you were. Yeah. Bridge? So the problem is there's only 1 bridge in the deck, Pi, and if they Titan this turn, they just get to exile it with a Bojuka Bog that I'm assuming they're playing. So I think that's a bad idea. Well, that's horrifying. Well, now we just have to draw one of our 4 Galvanic Blasts or we're dead. Pretty much. Oh, great. I also don't get to have mana. Hooray. Uh-huh. Jesus. I don't know if we're going to be able to recover from this point. Just mana-wise, it's going to be horrifying. But we'll see. Like, it's not, I can't even make Thopters to get over this Karn, so it's basically down to how quickly can I draw a Galvanic Blast. So, oh, they're wishing? What? Golos. Wow. That's loose, I think. Enjoy, opponent. Oh, you got me good. I'll never Metallic Rebuke you now. Oh my god, that Cavern of Souls on Scout. Cavern of Souls on Scout is double value. It'll also protect their tireless tracker. What a boss. Opponent's gaming over there. Gaming. Gaming out of control. Yeah, the big 5-head play. Hope everyone's having a good Friday night. It was a rainy, crappy day out here, but got a lot of good work done on that See My Decks video, and get to play in the Mana Traders event tomorrow, so that's gonna be a time and a half if I'm lucky. So do I oh yeah. So this is awesome. So I get to cycle Chromatic Star into Ichor Wellspring and draw 2 cards. Jeez, that's kind of sick right there. And there's the Galvanic Blast. So I have another Glimmervoid, so let's play that. Play Blast. I guess play Thopter Foundry or Pentad Prism. I mean, it doesn't. Neither of these really does that much for me. See you, Redface. Yeah, nice match. Huh. So they're down to 2 cards in hand. If they could have tightened last turn, they would have just done it, right? I think. But I don't know. Regardless, I think I'm just putting in Thopter Foundry here. Just seeing if we can make it through one more turn. If we can, this game should be pretty locked up. I guess if I played Pentad Prism this turn, I would be able to definitely Spine of Ish Sah next turn off of a Whir, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I would have, but that's fine. Is this your big plan? Attack me for 3? Okay. I mean, I'm not mad. Just disappointed. Oh, they're doing stuff. A sloth! Good God almighty! Ooh, more mana. Terrifying. Okay, then. Well... Professor of Symbology, that's me. Just top deck Urza, that's the plan. The plan at this point is top deck Urza. But until then, play Spellbomb, play Pentad Prism. Yeah, pass the turn. So if I need to, I can Whir for a bridge. But I probably won't need to. We just use Goblin Engineer here to draw some extra cards. They drew a land. Oh, this is they get to bounce the Teleria West here, though. So there is a Titan coming into play. It won't be able to attack me. I own this paper? Yeah, I do. I think it's right here. I think it's that deck right there. Summoner's Pact, you nerd. I have a Damping main deck. Look how much mana they have. It doesn't matter right now. Could Whir Needle the Transmute? I could have Whir Needled the Transmute. I think I'm pretty happy with the bridge. I'll see what they get here. If they... I'm trying to figure out what would make me want to do anything other than Whir for bridge here. Like, I could Needle the Slayer Stronghold right now, but that isn't as good as just getting bridge, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I should have let them target the Titan with the thing, but whatever. It's fine. This is close enough. They have 0 cards in hand, so I could be playing this tighter if there was a reason to. In theory, they could now use the Slayer Stronghold to buff up one of their Arboreal Grazers and Kraken for 5, which is fine. Like, it's an extra 2 damage I didn't need to take, but I don't feel like I'm going to die for it. Although that does sound like the kind of statement someone who's about to die would say. We have like 3 extra draws at Urza next turn, plus we can basically empty our hand, so I'm not worried about it. They attack without pumping. Not worried about the vigilance, huh, opponent? You've left value on the table, you nerd. You nerd. Leaving value on the table. Who do you think you are? Okay, so get back Chromatic Star, sack Ichor Wellspring, Wing. Okay. Hey, look, we won. All right, opponent. You have died. Please concede, OP. We'll see. I mean, I think they need to see that I actually know how the combo works, which, you know. But, like, the way the game state is right now, like, I don't actually have to go through everything in theory. People forget how good Urza is. Make them remember. Oh, I will. I have been. It's been such a long time. Think I better combo. Time doesn't wait for me to make up non-bow. Yeah, I agree, Pi. I just, like, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to assert my dominance there. You're right. So they have 3 sloths. It's just the frustrating thing, Pi, is that in paper I could go, okay, go through my deck, get my Spine of Ish Sah, blow up all your lands, pass the turn. And then they would die to their Summoner's Pact trigger before they got to make any decisions. Yeah. It's the Damping Sphere doesn't matter, right? Just the Spine. Just kill all their lands. Just leave all their creatures in play. I don't care. You could keep all your creatures. I don't care. You know? Like, I don't think that they play main deck, I don't know, engineered explosives, I guess, would be the scariest thing. Yeah, your deck is Amulet Titan. Let me leave you with your amulets and your titans. See how you like that. The other card in the hand is a land, I think, from last turn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh. So 19 plus 3 is 22. So I need 22 Thopters. Oh, they get to spin their Golos here. Sure. All right. All right. All right, what'd you get? Valakut, Primeval Titan, Explorer. I guess if the Explorer found them a Dryad, this could be a problem. But not really. I just make infinite Thopters in response. Go to infinite life, have infinite 1/1s, and just attack them afterwards. So. Titiana in Modern could be really interesting. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's very powerful. I don't think it's, like, too powerful. That would be super fun. Oh yeah, you got a lot of mana there, opponent. Okay, so they have a Teleria West, so now they can go for Dryad. So they're gonna make me go to semi-infinite life. Hooray. Smokestack in Modern? Is that real? I know Braids is in. Braids is not Smokestack. If anyone is saying Braids is Smokestack, that is a completely ludicrous overstretch. Yeah, that's fine. Saying Braids is Smokestack is crazy. Yeah. I know Braids just did, like, a couple hours back. But Smokestack is not Braids. Yeah? Are we doing this? Really? Okay. I don't think you understand what kind of madman you're against, opponent. I have spun my Urza, like, 13 times in one turn to find a counterspell. You don't scare me. Mm-hmm. No Titiana yet. We may still get one. They have no cards in hand at the moment, so this is just 3 damage. We don't know that they can make this more. Though they are going to play the Explorer. There's a reasonable chance they find a land with it, but... Like, I love how much effort they're going through here to just, like, make me do something that I was going to have to do anyway. Oh, please tell me they didn't find a land. They found something. They're casting it. Sure. You got it. Enjoy. Didn't even kill my Urza. Like, what were you doing? Come on. Uh-huh. Okay. Hold on. Let me put the song on. I need 13 tokens to play for what? Do I not need way more than that? 13 more tokens to play. Yeah. I just go by total. 22 is the number I'm looking for, because it's going to stack them up in 10s. That's where this one's from. I found out all the secrets of the Whurza deck, like where the Thopters are made. No, where the Thopters go after they're knocked down? Yeah. Like where the Thopters go after they're knocked down. We're at 20. Almost there. And actually, maybe we're going to end up just even on clock. You can disable animations? I thought I had the animations disabled, sir. Are you telling me I don't have animations disabled? Because I know I did. I don't think this is what animations look like when they're enabled. Alright, 22. Let's go one more. For good luck. Just in a groove here. Yeah, animations are disabled, so. The enable animation tick box is unticked. Are they gonna block? Seriously? What are you doing? Okay, they can see this. Alright. Yang, yang, yang. Alright, Thoughtseize. Oh, Fracture is good here, because this gets rid of Karn, too. Broken. ... Broken. Ashiok? Yeah. Ashiok is, yeah, is good. Oh, yeah. I need to cut a something. Oh, probably Ichor Wellspring, right? I don't know. Ichor Wellspring's been treating me pretty good in this matchup. Maybe a Thopter Foundry? Some cards that interact weird with Karn? Like what, Pentad Prism or Talisman of Dominance? I don't know if I want to cut Pentad Prisms on the draw, but maybe I should. Oh my god, it's Apriolo. What's up, friend? You are an exceptional Titan player. Specifically Reclaimer Titan, I believe, if you're the person I think you are. I don't know what you're doing in this neck of the woods, but welcome. Talisman and Spellbomb. Yeah. I like having as much mana as possible. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, Apriolo, because, yeah, I like all the Thoughtseizes too. I just can't figure out how to cut enough room for everything pie. Like, I don't play this deck enough right now in the current form to know what I'm supposed to have here. Alright. Turn 2 Damping Sphere seems okay. I don't think you throw this one out of bed for eating a sandwich. Imagine not playing Urza enough. I've played Urza plenty, like, overall. I'm just saying, like, recently. Like, when was the last time you registered Urza, Mr. Trophy Leader? I don't think it was recently because you like to win. I miss Teamer Urza so much. I miss the interactive Urza decks that got to play interaction in Cryptic Command. Well, Angled Lufa, but Angled Lufa plays like Lantern Urza, right? They didn't have any turn 2 play with this. Gosh, that's so good for me. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and not tempt fate by playing the Glimmervoid, and instead tempt fate by not playing the Glimmervoid. Definitely want. Let's get Blood Crypt. Hey, look, you have 1 colorless mana. Kinnan plus Upheaval? I have several, friend. By the way, I want you to know, I really enjoy the tweets that people have been firing off where they're like, poking fun at Upheaval, and they're like, wow, they printed another unplayable card into Modern. And I'm just sitting here going like, yeah, sure. The last couple times I've jumped through hoops to play something like Upheaval, it was pretty close to being good, so... Am I supposed to Thoughtseize here or be proactive? Because like what is the most scary? Wait, they didn't even play a land this turn? No, they did play the land. Because they had the Simic Growth Chamber last turn. Because I can Whir for Sword this turn, and then if I draw a land, I think I can win right away. No, I can't Whir. I have the No, I can't. Okay. So let's Ichor Wellspring this turn. Or Thopter Foundry. Yeah, Ichor Wellspring. I want to hit a land. Yeah. Exactly. Just going to draw a card now. Okay, perfect. Hello, Shauna. Hope the world is treating you well. Okay, so this turn is Urza Thoughtseize. Can I do that? I think I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it works. Boing. Hey, look, Karn and a Primeval Titan. Well, that was fun. What a terrible hand they kept. I guess I win. Want to play around Dismember? I mean, I agree with you, Pi, but like at the same time, I don't know. The amount of hoops that I would have to jump through to start trying to assemble the combo, without doing what I did there. Oh, it was a question. Yeah, no. I was just like, the way I was looking at this hand, I was like, if I don't jam Urza now, my access to mana is pretty limited, and it's going to take me forever to combo. So I was just like, you know what? Let's go. Like, let's get him. So I have Pithing Needle to shut down the Karn, which should get me enough time to do anything else that I want to do. I can use Goblin Engineer to get the sword in my graveyard. So we play Pithing Needle plus Goblin Engineer this turn. I can play more than that. Although playing Pithing Needle this turn doesn't really help me. Play Pithing Needle, then play Pentad Prism for... Oh, no, yeah. The way Pentad Prism interacts with that Damping Sphere is, like, not the greatest. I don't need to play the Prism this turn. I'd probably just play Pithing Needle plus Goblin Engineer this turn. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana for next turn. So, let's see if they're willing to give up their amulet here. I'm guessing that they will. Yeah, we're on Urza, Colby. I was the last Urza streamer for a long time until I kind of got sick of losing with it. I liked Urza a lot more when there was a wider range of Urza decks you could play. The fact that it basically seems like the only thing you can do with Urza right now is turbo combo. It's not bad, but I find it a little boring. Titania and Modern Horizons 2, it's confirmed. Because people were talking about it earlier as if it was not yet confirmed. That's cool. Titania's a beast. And seems pretty fair for Modern. Especially without GSC. Green Sun Zenith. It's gonna be a cool tool for Amulet, actually. Summoner's Pact. Okay, it looks like we got a Dryad coming in. Do they have... We don't know that they have a Valakut in their hand, but if they do, that could be something. I might be able to whir for Spine to kill them. Probably not. Sure. I could definitely whir for Spine to kill the Dryad. Yeah, but they could change how they play stuff, Pi. Like, I don't know. People are definitely going to experiment with it. I don't know if it'll be that good, but people are definitely going to experiment with it. Oh, we just drew the Spine. Oh, that was sick. So... just blow up the Dryad, attack down the Karn, and then basically this game should be over. Spine of Ish Sah. Boop. Get out of here, you. You troublesome little Dickens, you. Oop, did not mean to attack with my Goblin. Not that it really matters. I didn't have anything else to do with my mana this turn, but they have to play for the Pact. So there was no way I could take them off of enough green. I needed to kill 2 lands that turn, and I didn't have enough mana. But I think this turn I can reset the Spine with Thopter Foundry, and then just Stone Rain them every turn. So that seems good. Maybe not good enough. Just win? Come on, Pi. Who are you talking to? I didn't realize I could just Thopter combo them until you said it. No, I was just thinking of different awkward, crazy things to do. Yeah, we'll just win. Fine. Fine. Captain Bringdown over here. Wait, is Sword already in my graveyard? It is. Okay, never mind. Thanks, baby. I knew you always believed in me, girl. So, what do I sacrifice here? Pithing Needle? Yeah, why not? Oh, wait, I have an Ichor Wellspring. What am I doing? That one. Sack this. Get one of these. Yield to this. Yay! Yay! This time they snap conceded. So we are currently 2-0 against Titan decks. That's pretty good. I'll be back in 1 second, and we will continue on through this league. We have been fairly lucky so far, so I don't want anyone to take this as their impression that Urza is fixed and perfect. I would like Urza to be fixed and perfect and wonderful, but it's not. It's not. But it is reasonable. All right. Yeah. I did not say those words, Phoenix. That is precisely words that I did not say. Inquiring minds want to know. Just typed 2021 on my work computer. Well, you don't want to do that. You got to be future-proofing, Hands. If you're doing work for any kind of company that has you on a work computer, you got to make sure you're working in 2022 by now. The number I meant to hit was 5387. Quick! People, find out what company secrets are unlocked with 5337! 5387! Hopefully it's more secrets than I unlocked by being able to correctly pronounce as more Anomar Dicadice and a cool Dakar. Which is, you know, a cool party trick, but it hasn't unlocked any deep secrets of the Underworld Cookbook yet. Alright. Holy crap. Yeah, I can't keep that hand. But it is pretty looking. Triple Galvanic Blast. Well, I mean, this is a little awkward on the play. I think I'm supposed to keep this and bottom the Damping Sphere, because Damping Sphere is much less likely to be relevant in the average Modern matchup. I think it's between Galvanic Blast and Pithing Needle, and the question is, like, which of these... Or, sorry, and Damping Sphere. Like, all three of these... I think we definitely keep the Galvanic Blast, so it's really between these two. Like... You know what? I think I'm actually supposed to bottom the Pithing Needle, weirdly enough. Especially if we end up against Burner Prowess. Like, at least Damping Sphere has some application there. Okay, then. Flooded Strand was not the opening I was expecting. Oof. That is annoying. So... And I don't even want to play Damping Sphere if this is a control matchup. Good reference, Dredge the Bed. I appreciate you. Is Prowess why this deck doesn't see play? I mean, it's one of many reasons. The more difficult matchups for Urza in general tend to be tempo aggressive decks. It's not the straight aggressive decks. So yeah, like blue-red Prowess after board for sure is less than fun. Things like Shadow. I think a lot of the hyper-aggressive decks are certainly quick enough to be problematic for this deck, but most of the reason why this deck was not so widely played is it just wasn't as good as everything else. Like, you generally lost to control decks, you generally lost to aggro decks, and you generally lost to the other combo decks, as far as was my feeling on it whenever I played it. Just like everyone else's plan was better than yours. Oh, okay. Well, this is not the best draw ever against control. But as I said, we've been pretty lucky so far, so we just need to chill out and see what I can draw to. Huh. That's fun. You just want a Metalwork Colossus deck to happen? Oh, it already did. It already did. It was called Silvergack. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I hope you feel better soon. This deck suffered hard from the Oko ban. Not this deck. This deck suffered hard from the Mox Opal ban. Yeah, but you can find it on my YouTube, Phoenix. Just look up Silvergak. The Ancient Silvergak. That is the Metalwork Colossus deck of Legend. It is insane. It is completely insane. It is an insane deck with an insane concept. And it was every bit of fun to play that you think it might be. Rats. Spell Snare. Okay. Yeah. That deck basically does that. But it's not quite good enough for Modern, and the hate pieces are too good. Like, case in point, we played against Karn a bunch of times in that league, and it was just, you know. You play against Karn and you get massacred. Well, crap. Yep, can't even kill that. He just started moving to get Karn banned. I mean, you wouldn't be the first person who wanted to do that. So it looks like we're just dead in the water here. Which is fine. Like, they had a fine opening, fine mid-game. We had less than spectacular draws, and especially given the matchup, we drew double Galvanic Blast and Damping Sphere, all of which are not particularly good cards here. Goblin Engineer doesn't really do anything for me. But I'll play it anyway with enough mana to pay for a mana leak. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm actually getting Thopter Foundry here. Although I guess if they just have Fatal Push, it's going to suck. But nothing much I can do about it. Yeah, of course they do. They haven't had any... You know what? I'm just done with this game. That's fine. We'll move on to game 2. No point in trying to win against that Resolve Teferi and 4 cards in their hand already. 4 plus the Fatal Push that they're going to draw 2. Like, we're done. That's fine. We're not punching through that in a million years. Yeah, certainly not with those draws. Okay. That said, Tezzeret seems fine. Fracture seems okay. Vanishing Universe is specifically not good. And then Thoughtseize. So let's get these Galvanic Blasts out. Aether Spellbomb is no good. Pithing Needle's fine. Shuts down the Planeswalkers. Damping Sphere is not necessary. Bridge is probably unnecessary. I don't think I want Tezzeret. I mean, I want Tezzeret, but I don't think I'm supposed to bring in Tezzeret. I always want to, but I don't think I'm supposed to. So the trick with this matchup is getting Thopter Foundry and Sword of the Meek assembled through their interaction. Obviously, it gets a little bit harder if they have sideboard Teferi Time Ravelers and such, but it's okay. I'm going to keep this with a lot riding on these Witching Wells to scry me into lands. It's a pretty good hand otherwise. You like that this deck has some backbone? What do you mean by that? Because, like, I guess what I'm thinking is, like... No! Oh, I wanted that on the bottom. Alright. Play Spine of Ish Sah. Zing. I think someone already made that joke. Well, we're potentially down a land drop here. Immediately. Let's see if I got punished. Yeah, I did. Shoot. Crap. Alright, well, whatever. It's fine. Beggar, not chooser, friend. Beggar, not chooser. So we'll play Sword of the Meek here. Yeah. If they have Force of Negation, they might force. But, get your jank out of my beautiful tier bracket, says opponent. Your kind is not welcome here. So we just gotta start jamming into their counter magic. Goblin Engineer actually doesn't do that much for me here, but I would rather them counter this than Thopter Foundry. I'm hoping that they're not comfortable with Goblin Engineer resolving. It looks like they're not. I'm sorry, what now? Oh. Well, that sucks. I mean, it's actually kind of fine in the abstract, but what the hell? Made an Eldrazi player real salty when you exerted Champion Roadhouse to put an Elish Norn. Yeah, that your dubious challenge deck looks sweet. That looks really, really, really spicy. I might have to play that next week right before Modern Horizons 2 comes out. And then when Modern Horizons 2 comes out, I think I want to do at least one 12-hour stream. Man, okay, so I'm just going to play Chromatic Star this turn and pass. Hopefully they play a Planeswalker. They're playing the combo. What? Of Spell Queller plus Teferi? I mean, that's fine, but I'm definitely going to do Constructed... What the hell? That is such a pain in the ass. Bounce my Sword of the Meek. Gosh, that's rude. Okay. Well, hopefully they play Big Teferi this turn, or Jace. Yeah. Well, I've got Mana Traders, and I've been with them for like 14, 15 months or something crazy like that, so I think I have access to the cards immediately. Perfect! Love to see that. Hey, Jace. Dodge this. Boop! If anyone's curious, yes, I remember that Dodge This is from The Matrix and not from any Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. But it should be, damn it. Some top-tier action sass. So, Thopter Foundry? Do they have Force? Oh, no, they've got Smell Snare. Shoot. Rats. Or Spell Pierce. Opt? Okay. They're digging for the Force. Love to see it. Resolves. Resolves. Yes. Arnold should have been the Matrix. Well, I didn't say that. But it definitely would have been a better movie. Although it was already pretty freaking good. Yeah, exactly. Stick around. I really want to sack it in response. It's not smart, but I want to do it. Yeah, it is too bad they never made any sequels to The Matrix. That would have been pretty cool. Thanks to follow Firefly Kaleidoscope. That is a great name. Alright, we'll let them have their cryptic. I've got a Thopter. Huh. Well, that's a touch awkward. So, play Sword of the Meek. Opponent will not counter this, I assume. Yeah. And then I kind of just want to equip it, so I'm gonna. Heh. Now they're gonna play Jace and bounce it, but still. Oh, what a play! Grabs the Thopter token. Look how aggressive. That's pretty A+ opponent. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of sick though. All right, how many counters do you have? Okay, that's a good one. So if I pay for this, I'm gonna then take 4 on top of taking 2. I'll go for it. Because next turn I can play Thopter Foundry. Hopefully, Jesus. Okay, well. They're really trying to get me dead, huh? That's a weird move. Weird move for Esper control. Jeez. Yeah, this is awkward. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing for it. Actually, I could draw first. Huh. Yeah, that actually kind of works, huh? Okay. As long as their hand isn't double counter. Oh, it's nothing. Wow, that was awkward. Well, we'll be okay. They do have a Castle Vantress to activate. So, in theory, I could still die fairly easily. If they draw... No, I can't. No, they can't kill me. They could put me to 1, but they probably can't kill me. They've also already spewed 2 cryptic commands. So, they went top-bottom. Yikes. I just think the worst thing for me would be to Fairy Hero of Dominaria, because then I could tuck my Thopter Foundry, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't beat me right away or anything, but it's kind of scary. Add 1 to the mana leak worse than counterspell column. Yes, agreed. Yeah, on Spike's stream, it looked like it was like 85% mana leak worse than counterspell. 15% counterspell worse than mana leak, which seems about fair. But that was in one specific deck, so holy shit, what? Six mana? Playing Terminus? Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I knew they would do that. I think this means they're not attacking, right? So this should be okay. So I don't want to shuffle right now. The card in their hand is a land. So I can play Urza into Needle. And then we just win next turn. Seems pretty good. In fact, they could kill him. But Zach was none the wiser. He was too busy trying to figure out how to set up a Thopter combo to go to infinite life, while his opponent was at 1. Carry the 5. Then you gotta take the deductible and wait, I can draw 2 here, right? And then I can get the color that I need. I think we just win. Yeah. Whoops! Sorry, folks. Didn't mean to scare you. We got it. Thank goodness we're gonna go to 1. I need black or white here, which I have. Huh. Well, that worked out. I used to use that song, but it kept getting DMCA'd, so we use this one now. Guess Sorcerer's Spyglass is something I kind of want, I guess. And Spine of Ish Sah. Maybe unnecessary here. Yeah, all right. So I do have a soundboard. It's not specifically for The Simpsons, and the number of buttons on it is infinite. So you can have whatever you want. So, you know, I've got... And...
Just give him one of these. Boom, baby!
So I just put on stuff that I like. It's called DCSB, Death Counter and Soundboard, and it's just like super low... low resource, like it doesn't require a lot of your computer. Jeez. Like a 20 land deck, right? 22? All right. Keep this one. Ship the Whir. Yeah. Just pray a little. Need a little bit. Need a little bit of those lands to draw. Need a little bit. I mean, the thing is, I'd already mulled a 6 in the control matchup. It's pretty rough already, Phoenix, so... Like, maybe I was supposed to mull to 5, but I don't know. I feel like I'm more comfortable to miss a land drop on an early turn and just, like, come back in the mid-game. So I already have red. So I probably want white or black. I think white just gets me covered. Oh, then I can't play like Fracture yet, but that's probably fine. First thing I'm gonna do is play Ichor Wellspring. Oh, I needed black for Thoughtseize. I'm an idiot. All right, we'll probably just draw another land at some point relatively soon. Yeah, of course they didn't counter that. It's not a threat. Oh, but it is, opponent. You don't understand the depths of my They missed the land drop. Well, that's delightful. Uh-huh. Okay. Pentad Prism. What say you, opponent? I would guess this gets a counter out of them. I wish I had a land drop here so I could drop a land in and Thoughtseize them right after, but whatever. Yeah, I'll take it. I didn't need that one. I got another one coming. Where'd that come from? Continues to miss land drops? Cling to Dust. Okay, so they found a cantrip, but no land. Huh. Spellsnare? Please no. Force of Negation. You got it. What a ludicrous game of Magic we're attempting to play. Alright, well, they found their third land, which is terrifying. I don't know why they're immediately fetching, other than the fact that they're going to play Teferi Time Raveler. No. Okay, whatever. Counter this. Or don't, wait until you cryptic later. Yeah, okay. Drought, let it out. These are the lands we can't do. Oh. Please take whatever you want. Took the Thopter Foundry. Alright. Works for me. Yeah, not getting that black source earlier. Wow, I really pantsed myself. I don't know why I particularly decided to go for white. Basically, I was like, it doesn't matter. Immediately realizes it completely mattered. Oh well. So if this resolves, I kind of get some knowledge about what I'm dealing with on their side, and if it doesn't, then they're down one counter. I don't actually count on the Sorcerer's Spyglass to do much for me, but... Oh, goodness. Wow. Will... Probably dead to that hand. Holy crap. Yikes. Unmoored Ego and Esper Control. It has been a minute. Maybe the Archmage's Charm to draw. Yep. I'm assuming they Ego this turn. They should just Ego my swords, and then I'm basically done for. They could Ego my Urza, but I don't think so. Oh, there's a sword in play, so they Ego the Thopter Foundries. Just Ego the Foundries. There's nothing to be afraid of. There really isn't, though. I'm not trying to mess with them. There really isn't anything to be afraid of if they just jam on more Ego on Thopter Foundry right now. I guess they don't know what's in my hand, so I could have Mystical Dispute. I know I don't have Mystical Dispute, but they don't know that I don't know that I don't have Mystical Dispute. So they've got Snap Mana Leak here. Oh, sorry. Do you have any spicy new tech to try out for the turns deck? No. No, not as such. Man, screwing up my mana early, was just, this is a big issue. We just get Snap Mana Leaked here. Whatever. It's fine. I lose this game because I made a severe... What the hell? Okay. Oh, they have a Cling to Dust that they can cast, I guess. So whatever I put in my graveyard right now is not going to get to live. But then next turn, I have another Goblin Engineer. And this one won't be summoning 6. So if I can find another red source, then maybe. Cling the Thopter Foundry. Yeah, okay. This could work out. This could actually work out. Yeah, sorry about that, Shauna. My brain is a little fried. They still have Snap. Oh, no, they don't have Snap Mana Leak anymore. They must have drawn some other counter by now, though. I would assume that they did. They still have the Cling to Dust, but they can't actually just, like, play it. So... play Goblin Engineer. If they let the trigger resolve and I have a red source in hand, they get screwed. So I think they will, yeah, feel incentivized to do something about that. And then we get to resolve Thopter Foundry. And maybe... Nope. Spell Snare, Spell Pierce, Mystical Dispute, they all work. Yeah, okay. Close one. I goofed this game, and these Thoughtseizes ended up being stranded. So that's on me. Just not enough familiarity with this deck list, and I made a very important decision in the early game without really thinking about it. I had the Steam Vents in play first, and I just was like, oh, I've got my colors. But this deck really is playing 4 colors. But it's not the 4 colors I like. White got in here somehow, damn it. Exhaustion's in the air? Yeah. Could be the case. Ivan Guile. Ivan Guile? I don't know. We actually have a good opening hand. Weird. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this information. Ivan at Niash. Alex, I'm not going to tell you to remove that, but I know that's one of those ones. I'm pretty sure you added that just because you felt like adding that one. I'm pretty sure I said it after you added it. Magic doesn't forgive mistakes, you should think. Wow, that person, Shauna, speaks like a bad translated anime character. They took the bridge. So I'm guessing this is Jund Shadow of some variety or something like that. Let's just get the Triome out because I don't want to draw this later. Yeah, that's pretty much the perfect draw. Do I play it now, which will make them play removal sooner? I guess so. Well, I have Academy Runes in my hand anyway. So yeah. Let's play Goblin Engineer, put a sword in my graveyard. So that has me set up for later. And then see where we end up. If this is Jund Shadow, which I believe that it is, then Pithing Needle for Hex Drinker is definitely relevant. Possibly for Mishra's Bauble, Scourge of the Skyclaves. Yeah, that's a big boy. But I can get my bridge out this turn. Huh. Neat. So we go get Swamp. Chancellor in the Russian Empire once said, Russia has 2 allies, Army and Navy. That is a strong quote. Quote is good stuff. So what do I want to needle? Or do I just cycle the needle immediately into a bridge? So I can't needle Lurrus, right? Like it's not in the game. That definitely doesn't work. I'm gonna go with Mishra's Bauble. Maybe I should be dodging Seal of Fire. They usually don't play too many of them, though. Alright, we'll just pass the turn here. See if they try to go to combat. They will. I think I'll probably just swap the Needle out for the bridge, though. Maybe I should have done it while they were tapped down. They could have Cling to Dust. Oh my god! Why was there not a stop? There was meant to be an earth-shattering kaboom. Well, hopefully we won't just, like, straight up die here. I guess TBR won't even kill me, although it will be close. Jeez, that was a huge mistake. Yep. Okay, well, not too bad. Yeah, that's fine. Weird. At some point, my stops got messed up. I don't know how or why it happened, but suffice it to say, I'm unpleased. Very unpleased. Very nice. Good English, Zach. Alright. Academy Ruins. Yeah, just get this out of here. Well, no, I should save it for the Lurrus. Magic doesn't forgive mistakes. You should think. Are they telling me I should think that magic doesn't forgive mistakes? Or what's going on here? What is with this? No, I get it. But like, again, I like how that is, how that comes across. Magic doesn't forgive mistakes. You should think. If you were an ultimate challenge fighter like I am, you would think. Magic doesn't forgive mistakes. Something about that just screams for kids. For kids anime translation. Okay, so now I swap Pentad Prism for the Pithing Needle. Name Hex Drinker, not Hex Drinker, Mishra's Bauble. Crap. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. So, I'm just gonna... I think I take the 2 this turn, just so I can make sure that I kill the Lurrus. Although going down to Virtual 3 seems really bad. Lurrus is not going to be able to kill me with the Seal of Fire anytime soon, so hopefully we'll draw something in the interim. Oh my god. That is a quote. Firefly. That is definitely a sentence comprised of English words. They conceded? Yo, opponent, come back. You hadn't lost yet. I mean, if I was at, like, 16 like I was supposed to be, then that would have been a very different game. But still. I had not won that. Interesting. My opponent's spirit was broken. So Vanishing Verse is actually good here. And then Fatal Push. And then Grafdigger's Cage? Yeah. Spellbomb, yes. Pithing Needle, yes. Damping Sphere, no. Spine, probably not. I think they were just done with that game. They were just like, you know what? You know what? You got it. I insightfully saw through their weak bluff. It wasn't that weak. I mean, they managed to get my Goblin Engineer off the battlefield. I think I just cut the Galvanic Blast here as much as I would like to keep them. Well, no, I kind of feel like I need a lot of early interaction in this matchup right now. Definitely a Tezzeret matchup? What makes you say that? Like, I guess it could be, but I'm not... But, like, I'm already having trouble figuring out what to cut here. Is it crazy that I want to cut the Urzas? I mean, I know that's crazy, but I do feel like this is one of those matchups where we just don't need Urza. Like, the Thopter Sword combo just wins us the game very, very quickly a lot of the time. Bringing my curve down seems like a good idea. Man, that can't possibly be correct, but I feel like it is. I don't know, I've never done it before, and I've got a free game here. Especially on the draw. I guess I'm leaving in all my Pentad Prism, so that seems insane. Yeah. You know what? This is a mistake, and if I can fix it, I will cut Talisman and, like, one of the Pentad Prisms here. But again, like... This is why Urza is so awkward in this deck. The rest of the deck is so... It's a 2-for-1 against a Jund deck like this. It's not really a 2-for-1 a lot of the time, though. It's like a pretty... Why aren't we calling Goblin Engineer Genji? I don't know what Genji means. I would support Genjineer, though. Don't take my witching well. I need this. Alright. Who's a coward here? Not me. Not me! Hashtag no coward stream. Cyborg Ninja from Overwatch. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Not really, though. I have played Overwatch, like, units of numbers of times in my life, but not enough to actually remember most of the characters. No, actually, let's just play the Ichor Wellspring. I like this better right now. Yeah. He has a sword, right? Like a big, like, cyborg samurai sword that, like, electrifies people. More discard? Jesus. It's a good thing I have this Academy ruins. They can't take anything relevant. This has been quite the interesting early game. My opponent flailing around over there a little bit. More? No, it's the Hex Trigger finally. Okay, good. I was like, what the hell? Alright, well. No, I just I just couldn't come up with a more clever way to say like a number of times that is extant but not particularly relevant, if that makes sense to you. Like, yeah, it definitely is a number, Firefly. Yep, I've played a number of games of Overwatch, but like not enough to say that I've ever actually like I wouldn't be like I've played Overwatch because like I just don't remember much. Okay, so there's a Thopter Foundry in my graveyard, so let's go just get Sword in there. Sword of the Meek. I don't really want to play this Grafdigger's Cage right now. Do I want to Pithing Needle their Hex Drinker? I don't especially need to at the moment. Maybe just proactively hit Seal of Fire. Because I could just get the bridge out next turn, so. Because it's very likely there's a Seal of Fire rotting in their hand right now. They just can't cast yet. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was good comedic value, right? There's one thing I know, it's math. And physics. And the words to every Monty Python routine. Me. Alright, well, we've got a bunch of Thopters coming in here. I played a league or two of Overwatch. Yeah, sure. Let's put it that way. So I could Galvanic Blast to start Confidant right now, which is kind of tempting. Actually, I'm definitely going to do that. Huh. Okay, well, that worked out nicely. I put the Galv on top, right? I think I did. So we just go... Hold on. So red from here. Weld for Thopter Foundry with Spring. Draw the Blast. Put that into play. Kill the Confidant. You're not so confident now, are ya? And then, yeah, we've got as many Thopters as we need. I think they actually use the words routine. And the words to every Monty Python routine. We are the knights who say, me. Death Shadow. Good gravy. Thoughtseize. You got it. Yeah, it's fine. It's close enough. Please attack. Do it. Aw. You nerd. Sack. This empty Pentad Prism. Do this thing. Do that thing. Do this thing. Do I have enough mana to put this bridge into play? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I do. Do I want to do that versus just making a bunch of Thopters? They have one card in hand? Yeah, we'll just make a bunch of Thopters. I don't need to put a bridge into play this turn. Perfect. And I knew I was drawing that anyway. Why didn't I play the Cage? Cage shuts down my combo, so I basically have to immediately sacrifice it. Cage is nice, like, when you're on the back foot and you need to stop your opponent from, like, grinding out an advantage. So, like, let's say I had a bridge in play, but I was, like, trying to find Thopter Sword combo. Then having the access to the Cage. No. Well, yeah, it is, but so the wording of Cage, and this is something that trips people up. So the wording of Cage says, creature cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast... Oh, sorry. No, I'm thinking Torpor Orb. No, Cage is fine. Cage would have been fine. Sorry, I was thinking of Torpor Orb. Man, it's been a minute. There's no Torpor Orb in this list. That's kind of nice. I guess Skyclave hasn't been as popular recently, so. Alright, we're playing with house money. 3-1, baby. Just crushing our way through this one. Oh, it's Fluffy Wolf. What are you doing? Why are you in my league? Me? You're in my league. The friendly league, sir, or madam, or they. Alright, so on the draw, top 10 anime betrayals. Pikachu face. Oh! Tell him the mistake, Wisdom. Only if there's a mistake that means that I should be derisive. Magic doesn't forgive mistakes. You should think. Hey, Grayus! Well, thank you so much for that. Streamer battle, you know it. Raugrin Triome mirror match. Fluffy says, I have that card too. What is he on? Goodness gracious. I don't know what this is going to be. I'm assuming I'm about to get countered. Although Fluffy hates playing counterspells, so maybe not. Yeah, okay. Weird flex, yo. No. There we go. Strimmin. Yeah? Alright, well. I know what I'm here to do. I'm here to make Thopters and take names. And I'm all out of name. Wait, hold on. I'm here to make Thopters and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of gum. Streamer dance. I do dance. Only I may dance. Dance like Conan O'Brien. Just out here dancing like Conan O'Brien. Fluffy, there's no way Fluffy's playing counter magic, right? I'm just safe to jam here. I'm not going to, but I feel like I'm safe. I'm not going to, repeating to myself, I am not going to jam here, but I probably was safe to do so. Yeah, okay. So we have Thopters. Thopters online. My boot, your face, the perfect couple. Yikes. How you doing, Freed? Do you have a trick, Fluffy? I'm interested. He's got something. Prismari command. He's playing Creative Breach. Yeah. Okay. Or maybe just straight through the breach. Well. So I'll be able to combo next turn. Hopefully that's good enough. Jeez, probably won't be though. Well, Urza makes miracles happen. All right. I believe in miracles. Away from you, sexy thing, you. Bow, 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 bow. Do do do. Doop dee doop dee dee doop dee dee doop dee doop dee dee doop dee doop dee doop dee doop. So, boy, do I need to save a lot of mana for next turn if they get Emrakul. But if he's on Creative Breach, you might not be able to attack with Emrakul. If he's on proper, actual, factual Breach, then we'll be in trouble. Kill your Foundry because it's not carbon neutral. Oof. Gotta go green. I always knew Kinnan Urza was the superior deck. I just couldn't put my finger on why. Shattering the construct? Deals 2 damage, creates a treasure. They're gonna kill my Urza in response. That is a play. I assume they're gonna kill my Urza in response. Yep. Yikes. Oh my god. That was almost a big mistake. Hello! What's up? Yeah, I almost didn't. I was almost like, haha, I get 4 Thofters. He saved himself with the power of think. Every now and then. Every now and then. Sometimes I can do that. Grafdigger's Cage seems okay if they are in fact on they are in fact on what I think they are. Blasts are unnecessary. So all of this is great sideboard. Fracture is no good. Vanishing Verse is no good. Spyglass could be okay. Ashiok, probably not. I feel like Ashiok's probably better here than Damping Sphere, though. Yeah. You think and did not make a mistake, which is good. Because Magic is hard game, does not forgive mistakes. Cage does nothing to Indomitable. Oh yeah, you're right. I knew that. Of course I knew that. I'm a really smart individual. Of course I knew that. What are you talking about? Yeah. Alright, probably just keep the one Ashiok then. I guess I could play Tezzeret here. I don't know. Did I win that game where I boarded up my Urzas? I did, right? Huh. Okay, so that worked. That worked just fine. That's kind of funny. I can't Pithing Needle Treasure Token. Yeah, I think this is fine. We actually have a lot of stuff here that makes their life uncomfortable. Yeah. That's the reason I'm bringing in the Ashiok is that those decks, if he's playing the mountain, the all mountain mana based Dwarven Mine, then Damping Sphere just makes it awkward for them to push through sometimes. Like sometimes they want to play multiple spells over a small period, and it doesn't let them do that. I don't think Damping Sphere is great here, and it can actually be inconvenient for our deck as well, but I do think it's better than, like, just nothing. Huh. Yep. I'm just taking the path, I think. Do I have to? I mean, I don't have to. I don't think they're going to path my Goblin, so taking the Flusterstorm seems okay. The Flusterstorm just, like, doesn't counter anything that I actually need to do. It could counter a Whir, but I'm not terribly concerned about that. They have an island, so it's going to take them forever to get to this Indomitable. Yeah, let's just take the Flusterstorm. If they kill my Goblin, I can start drawing more cards. So I think I'm okay with that. He's not playing my deck. I don't think he's playing my deck. I think he might be playing the Jeskai Urian version. Or Jeskai Velomachus. But he's not playing the 4 color. Oh, is it? That's awesome if he... No, he's not. See? I've already seen multiple cards that are not in my deck list. It is not my deck list. I know the cards I'm registering. Oh, well. It's actually a good question, Freed. I think we just get Sword. Yeah, Jeskai Creative Breach. It's Spider Space's deck. That's what I thought. Or it's something like Spider Space's deck. Yeah. The reason I want to keep the bridge in the deck is because I have the Whir right here in my hand. So I took their Flusterstorm, and there's a good chance we can get to Whir for 3 before they can get to Emrakul. And that at least will buy us some time. So they've played the Mesa. Their hand still has an island in it, doesn't it? Oh, no, okay, they played the Mesa. Yeah, it still has an island. They have these 4 cards plus 1 unknown. Okay. Good. Okay. So we play Quitching Quell. Hey, thanks for the follow there, Argothman. Argothman. Yeah, it's okay, Squirtbit, but I mean, I'm not concerned about it, you know? It's fine. So I could play this Thoughtseize this turn if I want to. I don't think that I want either of these cards at the moment, though. Maybe I want the Goblin Engineer because he saves me from having to... Yeah, I think I want the Goblin Engineer, actually. My Bewitching Well. Not all decks had to put in effort to remove artifacts. Just the bad ones. I loved playing decks in Modern that was playing like main decked Assassin's Trophy or main decked Kolaghan's Command or main decked Cryptic Command. Like, I was the bane of all the Lantern players in my local meta. Because they were like, damn it. You actually have outs for everything. I'm like, yep. Nothing in my deck is particularly good at doing anything, but it all works. So let's just save this Chromatic Sphere in case I need it for the... Lantern was peak Modern. In some ways. That's a good play. That's a very good play. Alright, you got me. Well played. Huh. Okay, I may have painted myself into a corner here. Pretty sure I just get the Thopter Foundry here. Being able to whir for a bridge is still pretty great. And not putting it in my graveyard where it'd be vulnerable seems like a good plan. Hopefully they don't hit Breach plus Emrakul within the next couple land drops. Yeah, they can definitely get their Emrakul into play, but like I have like Aether Spellbomb, I have Ensnaring Bridge, I've got a million ways to die in the West. Yep. Well, if that was Velomachus, I would actually be scared. But it's not. Bloop. What say you, Mr. Wolf? Knock, knock, Mr. Wolf. Knock, knock. I guess Mystical Dispute would be a problem. I think the storm got him. Wait, you mean like his power went out? Or his internet? Because we've had crap weather here. I don't know where Fluffy's at, but yeah? Alright, well that's fine. Well, we'll wait. Fluffy's a good dude. I don't have any. Oh, okay. Where's this storm? I assume somewhere in the Midwest? Or the mid states, the farmland states? Oh, Texas. Huh. There's a lot of really good Magic players from Texas. Also, did Texas do something wrong on like a biblical level? Because I feel like a lot of bad stuff happens to Texas weather-wise. I've watched King of the Hill. Every damn episode. No, I assume the shit was hitting the fan before. Just like when you moved to Hawaii. Don't move to Canada! I mean, do, because it's great, but, you know. Just not the part that I live in. Move to Quebec. Why you don't move to Texas? Well, I might be in Texas once I get back working on cruise ships. Galveston I was supposed to be working out of, and there's also another cruise port in it's not Jonestown, it's Galveston, and what is the other cruise port? His stream went down? Yeah, alright. Well, we'll wait for a bit. He might come back up. Did you go to the punch store in Jonestown? I've never been to Jonestown. I didn't even know where Jonestown is. Come back to us, Fluffy. Well, Alex, for your perusal, we are playing Ad Nauseam next, so I'm excited to try this one out again. Kansas City has better barbecue. I don't care for Kansas City barbecue, but that's with the caveat that I don't generally like buffalo style hot sauces, and I don't know if it's sacrilege to say it, but like Kansas City style barbecue sauces are very buffalo to me. They're very vinegary, which I don't care for. Nashville greater than St. Louis, greater than Texas. Okay. Yeah, I just looked up the list. Like I just looked up the last list that did Well Spider. Do you have a suggestion instead of Sigarda? Because I don't get the Sigarda at all. Like Sphinx of the Last Word, at least I understood. But who am I fighting? Texas is greater than all. Yeah, you can share your list. I'd be happy to play your list rather than one that has a card that I don't agree with. Alabama, Kentucky, Japan, and Bahrain. Wow. From the franchise places I've ever been to, I assume St. Louis has really good barbecue because, like, for what I like in barbecue, which is like a sweeter, stickier, saucier affair for ribs. And then for wings, I really like a dry fried wing. Not like dry, just like not dipped in any level of sauce. I like a wing that leaves my hands like not coated in crap. Ad Nause Rip Monkey. Again, like you can go to my You can go to my YouTube and see that, like, right after the Saving Spirit Guide ban, that week, I think I played both versions of Ad Nauseam that were sort of relevant that had popped up, and I firmly believed it would come back, and it looks like it has. Okay, let's just rent the cards for this while we're waiting on Fluffy. I apologize to anyone in the future who's watching this on YouTube, but this is what happens sometimes, and it's all right. Oh, I like this sideboard. Nothing big or crazy. The main deck looks very similar. 1 sleight of hand instead of 2. 3 Pact of Negations instead of 2. I think that's the only change, Spider. There's a new Mexican. I feel like Tex-Mex ruins Mexican food in most of the rest of the country. Oh, yeah. I mean, I went to Mexico, like, on cruise ships a bunch when I was working there. And Mexican food is fantastic in Mexico. Not all of it. I mean, you know, you're not going to like all the food somewhere you go. Like some of the places, they just do it in a way which I didn't like. Like some of the places, like their taco stuff would come out like really damp. Like just like over sauced, over juiced, and it just like made all the bread stuff like just not pleasant for me. But then we'd go back to California. Oh my God, the Mexican food in California is a joke. It's like how Buffalo Wild Wings has like a suicide hot sauce, and it's like, dude, I just sipped it out of the little cup of it they gave me, and I was like, yeah, this is, I mean, it's hot, but it's not. You don't need to give it some disclaimer. Buffalo Wild Wings suicide sauce for when you're ready to die. Yeah, did not come as described. Excuse me, I was looking for a way to kill myself legally.
Well, I have nothing to offer you but my love.
Thanks, Gilded
I
Gosling.
specifically said no geeks.
But my mom says I'm cool.
Are you any relation to Untitled Goose Gosling? That's not a thing, but I think it's funny. You have family in the Midwest who thinks black pepper is hot. Well, I have a friend who's like that. It's not that he would like to like hot food. He just literally can't eat it. Like, he just, like, his body just starts melting down, and it's just not, he can't function if he starts eating food that is too hot. So, like, it's not, like, that's, like, where it's, like, it's not the taste or anything like that. It's, like, almost an allergy. Which is one of those things where I'm like, I just feel bad for the guy because I love ultra spicy food. One of the things that I love about ultra spicy food. Oh yeah, no problem, Gilded Gosling. Well, I hope you enjoy your time here. I can be a little more fiery and salty than Fluffy, but I mean that with the greatest token of respect because Fluffy is so gosh darn level-headed. It's amazing. I have nothing but respect for how level-headed he can be while truly tilt-inducing things are happening in games he's playing. Not that I always tilt, but it's like every now and then I'll just be like, ugh. Like the 5th match in a row where just like garbage is happening. Can't catch a break. Some days I'm okay with it, some days I'm less okay with it. But I've never seen Fluffy be anything less than a perfect gentleman of a streamer. Well-balanced, happy human. Thanks. So, oops. Still there. All right. I lived in China. I lived in their spicy food province, and they were always confused when you could eat the food, but other foreigners struggled. Was it Szechuan? Is Szechuan actually the hot province? Anyway, before I answer that question. So yeah, ContraEgo's Whurza list. Our only loss was against Esper Control, where I went 2-1. And I horrifically punted game 3 by not fetching black mana early. And having 2 Thoughtseizes stranded in my hands. So that was like, you know, not a great way to do that. But yeah, so be more careful with your mana, especially post-board. There's a lot of black-white cards, which I'm not used to these decks playing. Like, I mean, there's 3, but that's more than the 0 I'm used to playing. There's a single rip-apart. I mean, I don't know if this is a sideboard I ever would have built personally, but ContraEgo is an incredible Whurza player, so you can follow ContraEgo on Twitter. written as it is in the title here, Contra, CONTRA, Ego, EGO. And he is always posting about all the different Urza builds that he's trying out, mostly focused on Whurza, as I believe he believes that's the strongest version of it, and I think he's correct. Yeah, it's a good time and a good reasonable combo deck for Modern. It turns out you don't need that much interaction right now. I always want more interaction because that's just the kind of player I am, but just don't. We are going to move on to Ad Nauseam, a build from the lovely and talented Spider Space, who's hanging out in chat. But for everyone in the future on the YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and check out any other videos you're interested in. And I will see you there.